Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's resume our Complete Beginner's Guide to Monster Train 2, shall we? We're on Ring 5, the Aviary, and we've chosen this right path because we want to duplicate another card at the Imperium Well. But before we do that, let's check the Merchant of Steel and see what's available. So, the Smidge Stone is actually a really nice upgrade because you can take a unit that is powerful and reduce it down to 1 capacity. So, for example, I could, take this Sword Maiden and make it only 1 capacity, and then it would be a tiny unit that we could fit more onto the floor. I could also make a Shield Steward only 1 capacity instead of 3, which would drastically reduce how much space it takes up, but it's not really that good of a unit. So I'm going to actually do it to the Sword Maiden here, so I can have some more possibilities. Dualism doesn't really affect any of the units that I have here, so we're not going to do it. We're not going to waste the money on that. But you better believe that I'm going to go ahead and just crank up some of these other units as I can and spend as much money as possible here. I'm not going to remove anything, and I'm not going to re-roll, and that's because re-rolling is not worth it in my opinion, and I can remove 2 cards with this Unstable Vortex if I wish to. We're going to now go to the well, and I'm going to probably just duplicate another one of these Avengers and just lean into this. Now we have 3 of them, and if I push Z to open our deck, we've got, 3 Avengers fell, and then we have our Miser, our Sword Maiden, and a couple of Shield Stewards. But the question is, do we want these Spear Stewards anymore? Are they doing us a service by being in our deck? And the reason I'm asking that is because we have the opportunity at the Unstable Vortex to remove cards. One of the things you want to do is streamline your deck so that you're only drawing the good cards that you want. However, sometimes even a bad unit can be useful because you can deploy it and it just kind of helps you soak some damage and does a little bit of damage. And then once they are played, they're out of the deck anyway. So I don't know if we want to remove one of them. I don't really care to remove a Firestarter or a Just Cause because I need to shift my cards around. I want some direct damage. If you're going to remove anything, I think that the Shield or the Spear Stewards are the way to go because they are the kind of starter DPS units, and we've really replaced those with some better units. But we don't have a ton of units. I'm going to take out 1, and I'm going to keep the other. And I think that's fine. And now we're ready to go to the battle. You could easily take out both or none. Now, this is Relentless Zealots. We're going to be fighting the Undying one, who... This guy's got Reanimate 8, which means he'll go down to 1 hit point, and then you have to kill him by doing whatever damage, just 1 will do, 8 more times to take out all of his Reanimate stacks, and then you can finally kill him. He's got a lot of hit points, he does a lot of damage, he's quite annoying. There are some other annoying guys that we've also faced that we have to see again. Now, this trial, the Mark of Invasion, is going to make enemies appear on each floor, but not the first one. So basically, the first floor will be taken up by the traditional enemies that will come into the train, these guys that we see on the right. And then every other floor will have 4 of these misshapen fiends appear that do 3 damage and have 3 health, but they also apply corruption to the front unit. So one thing you can do is just take this trial and then not put any units on the upper 2 floors of the train and just have your Pyre take all of this damage and kill these guys themselves and just get 150, basically trade 150 gold for some Pyre health. You can put units down to fight them, but corruption is a bummer because it does not go away and it just does damage every single turn to your unit. So it's going to catch up and probably kill the units because this will happen on the first couple of turns. I'm going to actually say, you know what? I don't even want this at all. I still have 100 gold. I'm not going to mess with this. Let's just go ahead. All right. So, I'm going to put down Fell. And we're going to make a nice floor for ourselves. We're going to put down an Avenger. we are going to drop down the Miser here. And I would like to play... I can fit one more Avenger here, and I will. I could put the Sword Maiden down, too. But I'm just going to go ahead and put this Shield Steward up here. Alrighty. So, we're in a spot where this guy will die. This guy will take actually no damage, and we didn't draw any units, which really sucks. This guy also has his incredibly annoying enchant that I don't want to see, but it's there. So, I'm probably going to just play Divinity and take the... This will trigger Incant. We'll have to deal with it, but it will pump up Fel so much that I think it's worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. So now, I have the opportunity to move some units around, and I will. I'm going to move Fel up to the front so that we can start generating Valor for the backline units. This guy is not going to die as is, but what I am going to do is just go here with a Spear Steward, and then we're going to put down the Snotty Whelp, and we'll use the Snotty Whelp's ability, and now this guy is going to die because of all the Pyre Gel that's on him. There we go. And this little guy will creep up the steps, but that's okay. Alright. So, again, there is Incant, so I don't want to do what I'm about to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. And what I'm going to do is play Cleave. And I'm playing Cleave because I want to kill this Collector and get 75 gold. I'll also kill this guy. So there you go. And now this guy almost dies. I'm going to go up here. I could descend a unit if I wanted to. But instead, I'm just going to go ahead and drop some Valor on this guy up front. Let him do his thing. We could put the Jelly Sneezer up front, too, if we really wanted to, but it's alright. So this guy is going to die from the corruption anyway. Okay, and I was really hoping to draw Flicker, but we didn't, and that's okay. These guys will do some damage to us, but not that much. We need to get rid of Dominion's Eye. We got it. And I'm going to put down another Avenger on this floor. And I'm doing that because I want to make sure that this floor is nice and stout. A brief respite. Okay, so we get some time. And finally, we could play Blood-Soaked Arena, but actually I'm going to play this right here. Giving 20 more Valor to Fel means she has even more armor, she'll be more durable, and this is quite helpful to us. Our Avarice has been ticking the entire time. We're making a bunch of money, as you can see. And now we already win. So whenever I see an X on the boss, I'm just happy because, you know, we're going to win. Fel will die, but it's not that big of a deal. Is there anything else I can do to earn some extra money? Well, this guy has Incant, which is annoying, and I don't really think so. So what I'm going to do is I can get rid of this, whatever, and I could put this guy, you know, up here just for fun. And now, let's call it a day. We're at 220. Let's see how much more money we can make. Well, it made 30 at least. Crushed. Alright, so, again, one of the reasons I didn't take the extra 150 coins to make it harder was because I've got my Avarice, we killed the 75 gold collector, so we ended up making a ton of money. Finally, our first piece of equipment. So we haven't even really talked too much about equipment because we haven't seen very much to draft at all. Here we go with Everlasting Light. So this is a 1 Ember piece of equipment that adds 3 damage or 3 attack power, and then every time you strike, you apply 2 Valor to friendly units. So imagine how good this is on Fel, who strikes twice, for example. So we're going to take that. And we get some choices here. AoE, unit, or Soldier of Fortune. Now, Soldier of Fortune is a 0 Ember card that you consumes, and you go through your deck and you draw a unit. And if you have money, you make that unit really, really strong and put Avarice on it. This is actually great with all of the Avengers that we have, just making them incredibly powerful on top of how strong they are and getting some more money. This is very good. However, we might want Dragon's Breath to ensure that we have enough AoE for the upcoming fight. But I'm going to go ahead and take Soldier of Fortune because it's just a great little boost and we have some cash. Well, here we are. Speaking of cash, oh my goodness. This is a beautiful right path for us here because it's got a well, it's got money, and it's got a Merchant of Trinkets. And we can talk about artifacts for the first time. So we are going to be fighting Kale, Lord of the Cherubs. And here's the deal. Kale, Lord of the Cherubs, says, and this is the Ring 6 boss, Heaven's leader of the Cherubs, has been manipulated by the Titan of Dominion. Now even Heaven's workers are under the Titan's grasp. So, not really sure what that means for the fight, but here's what we need to pay attention to. Kale and his cherubs grant 35 health and 4 spikes to enemy units. So, what this means is, if we allow the units to live and feed the other units, they will become stronger and get spikes on themselves. And spikes means every unit of ours that hits them will take damage. This is a really bad thing for weak units that you have that you're trying to hide in the back row, because if they hit something, they're just going to take those spikes damage. The secret to beating this fight easily is to make sure that you have enough power and AoE to clear out all of the cherubs every single turn to prevent any from powering up the other units. So that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to take the right, we're going to pick up the money first, and we're going to go to the Merchant of Trinkets. Now we have 485 to spend here at this shop, which sells artifacts. Artifacts, like Vola's Tuning Fork, have just this permanent effect, and they go up here next to our enchantments or enhancements. And for example, this will make all starter cards cost -1. Well, which cards are our starter cards? Well, it's units like the cards that we started the game with, like, for example, the Shield Steward, or Just Cause, or Firestarter. It would make them all free, which is great. I also like Ancient Pinion. Whenever an angel moves, it gets 2 Valor. Let's go look at our deck again. Who's an angel? Well, our Avengers. Fel. Fel might not actually count as an angel. Fel is our champion. Should be an angel. But when we use Just Cause to shift our units around, then they will get just a bonus. And the Sacrificial Chris applies 5 Pyre Gel to an enemy unit when a whelp dies. So that's okay. But we're definitely going to go with... there are some whelps that are really weak or that blow up that you would like this with. I'm buying this right away. And instead of buying either of these, I'm actually just going to re-roll and see if we can get something better. Because I'm looking for, yeah, something like this. Valor grants an additional +1 armor per stack. So what this will do for us is make it so that Fel, for example, in the front, is going to get extra armor from all of the Valor. So I'll buy this. I actually have enough to buy the Jack Strips as well, and these deal 3 piercing damage that ignores armor and shields whenever an enemy unit moves between floors. So if you have like some straggler that makes it, this will clip them and do damage, and I'm going to definitely buy that. My advice to you, to help you stay alive, is to just spend your money. You know, don't buy something that's terrible, but if you feel like it could have any value, you don't want to die with money in your pocket, especially coming up against a major boss here. So I'm going to spend all my money. I'm going to leave. Now that will impact our ability to use Make It Rain and our ability to use Soldier of Fortune effectively, but I think it's worth it. I'm going to then go to the Empyrean Well, and we're going to duplicate a card, and what are we going to duplicate? We're probably just going to, hey, duplicate another one of these because these units are so powerful. And we're going to go here and fight the boss. So you can see this is the jerk here. The resolve is if this guy is here on the row with the enemy units, at the end of combat, if there's anybody alive, he's going to put 35 health and 4 spikes to the front non-boss. Not himself, but anything else. So all we have to do is make sure there's no units in front of him. Now, another way that we can really help with that is to put units on every floor so that he is distracted and will go fight other floors of the train that don't potentially have units on them. So we stretch him out because we do not want him feeding his units. All right, here we go. Fell. And then, this is going to be awkward, but I'm going to put this guy here, and then I'm going to put, I'm going to put the Shield Steward here just like before, and I am going to put down the Miser. I thought about stretching it out further, but if I need the money from the Miser so I can trigger some of my other cards. All right, here we go. So right now, you can see none of these are dying, which is god-awful. And this guy right here says, after the next round of combat, this unit will be eaten by the front unit without an eaten ability. So what we want to do is, well, we didn't draw any AoE, which stinks. What we'd like to do is kill all of these units, or at least this guy. So I'm going to drop this right here. And you see how this guy has plus 35? He's going to get the Nourishing Cherub effect. And there is nothing I could do about it. This fight, if you don't draw your AoE when you're looking for it, can be really painful. However, having a guy who has a few hit points survive isn't the worst. And you saw our jack strips triggering right there. Now we're ready. Now we're ready. We got enough money for Make It Rain to trigger sometimes, and I'm going to use it right now. Now, everything will die on this floor, and our Fel will not die. Fel also got some corruption, so some of these units, these guys, deal corruption, which is not ideal, and we want to make sure that Fel doesn't have too much of this on her. I am going to put down this unit here. We will now kill this guy, and then we don't care about this guy feeding anybody because he can't feed himself. So we're just going to leave him, and we're going to power up Fel twice. Remember, we get double armor. We did get some corruption there, which stinks, but we've got a lot of Avengers to play. There we go. And that's the most important thing, which is that we kept as many of them dead as we possibly could there so that they don't feed themselves. This guy is probably going to... Well, no, he's not. I'm going to put this down so he doesn't. Okay. So, here's what we're going to do. I want to drop a unit. But I want to play Cleave, and I want to play the Arena. I can't play the Arena right now, I don't think. Because I want to drop this unit here. And we're going to go ahead and Cleave. Like so. Now they'll both die. And I'm going to just start putting Pyre Gel on Kale so that he begins taking extra damage whenever he is fighting just our random units. This guy's dead, these guys are all dead, and Fel will survive, actually gaining 8 health or armor. So, I can play Flicker right here, but I actually don't necessarily need to. I've got so much stuff that's free. Here's what we're going to do. We have the money. I'm going to drop this. Ah, darn, we drew something terrible. Okay, that's amusing. That's okay. We'll just put this guy down anyway. We have so much free. Well, he'll do damage. We have 4 waves remaining, so I'm going to save this card. I'm going to give this to Fel, because we don't want Fel to die. One of the ways that you can lose is if Fel dies. Now, Fel is going to take 12 damage at the end of the turn from corruption. However, the armor will mitigate that damage. So even though Fel only has 3 hit points, we're still gaining health from this situation. I'm going to go ahead and continue smacking Kale with Pyre Gel and damage. End. There's 40 corruption there as well from our buddy. So we've put our own corruption on with our Avengers, and Kale is taking that every single turn. Alright, now this is where we really, really want to draw... Okay, we're okay. I wanted to draw AoE, but we're now so strong that we don't even need it on this floor. So here's what we're going to do. Without question, I'm putting this on Fel. I want to play the arena, I just need some more Ember. I'm going to put this on Fel, and I need to keep Fel alive. And we're going to put that on Fel. And we're just going all in on Fel surviving. That we're going to just smack and smack Kale here. So that guy died from the corruption, which is a shame. Here we go. But we have more units. So these will all die and we're fine. So I'm actually going to just put this dude right here. And we're going to continue doing damage. Look at this. This is really adding up how much damage Kale is taking here. And we'll end the turn. Melee weakness, we've doubled the corruption. It's up to 80. Fel has 136 armor, which is unbelievably good. Alright, we drew our equipment card and we can finally play it. So you start to see the power of these artifacts. Bola's Tuning Fork makes all of our starter cards free. So we can play everything. I'm playing this right away because this is going to make it so that she gives Valor to everyone on every hit. And we're going to, of course, give him this and give him this, just adding onto the Pyre Gel. And I want to make sure he does 22 damage, so I'd like to make it so that some of these units don't actually die if he hits them, if he goes to that floor. So I'm going to do this. Just to provide a little bit more beef. And now we're at final wave. Okay, so we did it. Our Fel isn't even going to die because of how much armor she has. This is because of Titan's Edict. We saved our money, we re-rolled the artifacts, and we got a good one. We leaned into what we're trying to do, which is we upgraded Fel, so she gives even more Valor every time she's hit. We kept putting more and more Valor on her. Remember that we upgraded our Divinity card so that it was double stacked to give even more Valor, and this allowed her to stay alive. Now, if you are reckless with Fel in this fight, she can die all the time if you put too much corruption on her before you can build up stacks of Valor. So that's why you want to have another unit probably up front first to take the corruption. But now, we're set. And I can do whatever I want right here. I can even descend a unit if I want to get really nasty, but I don't. I'm okay. I'm just going to put this here, and we can cleave. It doesn't really change the outcome. Those guys didn't do anything. You know, yeah. No. Okay, yeah, it does reduce the cost. It just doesn't make it free. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this here. Just for no reason. Let's see how much money we get. We have 40. I didn't even end up using Make It Rain, or I played my card, but it didn't trigger. I didn't have enough money. And we get 60. So now we collect 200. And here we go. We already have a Soldier of Fortune. We've talked about Superheated. Cursed Twin Blade is a piece of equipment we want 100% because it adds multi-strike. With multi-strike, we put this baby onto an Avenger, and now it's applying 80 corruption. It is unbelievable. So this is going to change our deck. This is great. And we need to take Hell's Flame, I think, as our enhancement, because this will give us more Ember per turn. There was a lot of times when we're running out of Ember per turn, especially considering the fact that our Avengers cost 2 Ember to cast, so we were kind of getting blocked. And it gives you an extra one on deployment, too, so we'll actually get 6 Ember on deployment. And that's really, really big. So now we've moved on to Ring 7, and we're almost to getting to the point where we fight the big bad ultimate boss. How about that? So we're still rocking and rolling. We're alive, and we have picked up some stuff to make our deck stronger, but is it strong enough for the Chosen of Savagery? Our units will enter with melee weakness 1, which is brutal if they're getting hit. And enemy units have rage 3, which means they do extra damage. So we're going to just have to see, and we will unfold that in the coming episodes. Everyone, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you're still finding this series to be useful and fun. I'll check you next time. Take care.